All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and honors to all you fellow laborers that are enduring afflictions to bring out this word in sincerity and in faith. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Barakatham, to all you sincere listeners. All right, so, this article was sent on a thread by the brother in the Tampa camp. And this is big. North and South Korea reportedly set to announce official end to war. Ahead of a summit next week between North Korean Premier Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in, lawmakers from the neighboring states were thought to be negotiating the details of a joint statement that could outline an end to the military conflict between the two countries. Pyongyang and Seoul have technically been at war since the 1950 through 1953 Korean conflict ended with a truce and not a peace treaty. Yeah, which is why you have something called the DMZ, or the demilitarized zone, which is a zone where there is no fighting. Okay, North and South Korea are in. That's where a lot of the times they meet. They meet and they talk right there in the DMZ, the demilitarized zone. North and South Korea are in talks to announce a permanent end to the officially declared military conflict between the two countries. Daily newspaper Munhwa Libo reported Tuesday, citing an unnamed South Korean official. Ahead of a summit next week between North Korean Premier Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in, lawmakers from the neighboring states were thought to be negotiating the details of a joint statement that could outline an end to the confrontation. A successful summit between the Koreas later this month could help pave the way for a meeting between Kim and President Donald Trump. The U.S. president and North Korean leader are poised to hold talks in late May or June, according to the Korean Central Network. Yeah, and this is bad for the so-called white man, because China has negotiations in dealings with North Korea as well as Russia. And then America's ally has been traditionally who? The South Koreans. All right, they're more so-called westernized, meaning they're Edomites. They take on the ways of the so-called white man. Whereas the North Koreans, they're more akin to their ancient way of living, their whole heathenistic Moabite way of living. And I got another one. U.S. uses Pakistan like tissue paper, Imran Khan. Cricketer turned politician Imran Khan has said the U.S. uses Pakistan like a tissue paper. For Pakistan, unfortunately, the economic situation is not that strong right now. The country is actually going through an economic crisis. So American sanctions would be damaging. But I mean, is this justice? Is it fair? Is this how the U.S. would use a country like a tissue paper, and when it thinks it doesn't need it anymore, it just casts it away? I think it's very immoral. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf chairman's statement came in response to a question regarding how damaging and dangerous it would be for Pakistan to be placed on the gray list of the Financial Action Task Force. Speaking about the U.S. accusing Islamabad of supporting terrorism, which Islamabad, that's the capital of Pakistan, Imran said, I think it's very unfair to Pakistan, a country that participated in the U.S. war. And I repeat, a country that had nothing to do with 9/11 and a country that lost more people than any other country. I mean, Pakistan lost more human beings, almost 70,000 dead. Vast number of them were handicapped because of bomb blasts, for helping the Americans, for joining the American war, and it brought the heaviest costs. And at the end, the Americans today blame Pakistan and put sanctions against it. I think this is the greatest travesty of justice. I think, it is something which is inconceivable that the U.S. would blame Pakistan for its failure in Afghanistan. When asked why the Pakistani defense minister is asking the U.S. to reconsider a cut of billions of dollars in security aid as ordered by President Trump, my point of view is that this American aid has been very costly for Pakistan. For getting whatever aid we did get in these 15 years, the damage done to Pakistan and participating the U.S. war on terror has led to almost 70,000 people dead. It has devastated our tribal areas. The border areas, we have half of the population. We're talking about 3 to 4 million people who were internally displaced. And the loss of the economy is about $100 billion. So this small aid has been very costly. And the lesson learned from Pakistan's point of view is to never fight someone else's war. And people like us have always opposed it. Posed with the question if Pakistan should show actual accounting or if the U.S. should put forth proof of its statement that anywhere from 50 to 70% of the aid sent to Pakistan was misspent, wasted on kickbacks, bribes, or even stolen, Imran said the aid given in proportion to the damage done in Pakistan by participating in the U.S. war, there is no comparison. The aid was what? They say about $20 billion, maybe $25 billion. Pakistan has lost over $100 billion. Economy suffered. Investment suffered. The damage done through terrorism meant that foreign investors won't come into Pakistan. Tourism collapsed in this country. Even today, foreign cricket teams don't come to play in Pakistan. So this country took a heavy punishment by participating in that war. And as I said, the money coming from that aid is a small pittance compared to what it costs to people of Pakistan. Imran absolutely agreed with Pakistan's foreign minister that the U.S. has turned Islamabad into a whipping boy to distract from its failures in Afghanistan, Agreeing that Washington is looking to single out Pakistan to deter criticism, the PTI chief said, just look at the facts. At one point, there were 150,000 NATO troops in Afghanistan, and then the Afghan army is anything between 250,000 to 300,000. So you're talking about almost 500,000 armed forces in Afghanistan. And what the U.S. blames Pakistan for is that 2,000 or 3,000 insurgents come from Pakistan to Afghanistan are the reason why they could not win the war in Afghanistan. U.S. expects Pakistan to win the war they've badly lost in Afghanistan. Firstly, what would the U.S. do to be on a collision course with Pakistan? The maximum leverage that the U.S. has is to stop the aid. And, Pakistan should try everything to keep the U.S. happy, he said when asked if the drop in American aid be countered by deals of Pakistan's newest friends like China or Saudi Arabia. But the problem is that the U.S. expects Pakistan, the message it has made in Afghanistan, to somehow win the war which they badly lost in Afghanistan. And when I say lost, I mean they haven't won. All the Taliban have to do to win the war is not to lose. So what the U.S. expects Pakistan to do is what it has not been able to do to succeed in Afghanistan. And clearly, Pakistan has limitations. And if Pakistan now, what they want to do is take actions against these Taliban groups supposedly operating from Pakistan, well, then they should tell us where these groups are. They're talking about the Haqqani network. At its peak, the Haqqani network would have maximum 2,000 to 2,500 men in Afghanistan. That surely cannot be the reason why they've lost and have not been able to win for 16 years, he said, suggesting that the U.S. will have to change its strategy in Afghanistan. He said, what I feel is that the American policy of military actions, collateral damage, I don't know whether you have seen in Kunduz, the bomb in Madrasa killed 100 children. Now that 100 children killed by the American bomb means that this will raise hatred in Afghanistan, and hatred means more recruits. And so it's an ongoing circle, collateral damage, hatred, more recruits, and an ongoing war. So the answer is that the U.S. has to change its strategy, and that's going towards dialogue and political solution. I mean, there was no Al-Qaeda in Pakistan. There were no militant Taliban in Pakistan, and we didn't have the terrorism. We had sectarian terrorism, but that was just nothing compared to what happened once we joined the U.S. war on terror after 9/11. And then we had a spat of suicide bombings, which was bigger than any other country. I mean, Pakistan suffered the sort of terrorism which no other country suffered. And there was a point in 2010 to 2011 when people were worried about the future of the country. We were falling apart. So it was thanks to the security forces that they eventually took this terrorism under control, which was because we were considered collaborators with the Americans. So all the anti-Americanism turned against Pakistan. People were attacking Pakistani security forces because they thought we were collaborating with the U.S. So the brunt of the anger against the U.S. was borne by Pakistan. Slamming the U.S. president for applauding India's role in the war on terror while blaming Pakistan for the U.S. not winning in Afghanistan and supporting terrorism, the chief said, now this is exactly what India says about Pakistan. And so therefore, it was extremely hurtful for people of this country. They participated in the war that was not Pakistan's war. Let me jump down a little bit because this is a lot. Damn, hold on, Salakia. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it, because then he's going into India. All right, but this is Sirach 19 and 26. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit, casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not. Where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief before thou be aware. And that's the so-called white man. Okay, he does something, he acts like he's sorry for it. I'm sorry, this was collateral damage. You know, we didn't mean to hurt anybody. We didn't mean, for casualties to be, to be inflicted. But inwardly, he's full of deceit. That was his purpose the whole time, to destabilize that country. Casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not, where he is not known, he will do the mischief before thou be aware. Yeah, and them Pakistanis didn't think that mischief will come upon them. Okay, they seen what the so-called white man has done to us in these other countries, yet they thought that they were exempt. Like they thought, okay, because we're helping them out, we'll be good. Nah, but he did you a mischief before you was aware that he's the same devil to everybody, man. And if for want or of power he be hindered from sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil. See? Yeah, so he wanted power, so he was acting cool with the Pakistanis. Yeah, we need you in this war on terrorism. Meanwhile, he's funding the terrorists. Okay, the so-called white man is the terrorist, man. And that's why the Pakistanis, they're expressing that they pretty much they were better off not rocking with America. Which is why the scriptures say this. Surah 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Yeah, and the so-called white man, he's the enemy of all these nations, man. Yet you see a Jake with an afro, or you see a Jake on the street, and he's the worst thing on earth. That Jake, he's not affecting your day-to-day life. Okay, he's not implementing policies that are destroying your generation and the generations to come, or taking out the infrastructure. They thought, he said 2010, 2011, they didn't think that the country was going to be in existence anymore. Why? Because they associated Pakistan with America. They hate America so much they couldn't get to America to get to Pakistan. See, that's what happens when you rock with the so-called white man. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Yeah, that's Esau, man. And these other nations are waking up to the fact that he's the enemy. Okay? This is Nahum 3 and 19. There is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hands over thee. For upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continually? And we just read an example right here, man, with Pakistan. The wickedness of the so-called white man has passed upon them continually. All right, joining as an ally to America puts your country and your livelihood in jeopardy. Because he's only about himself. All right, the so-called white man. In particular, the so-called white man over here, to the point where even Germany don't even want to join with your ass no more, man. And the other European allies, they're hesitant. And what's happening is these nations, they're getting bold, man. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Yeah, see, so all these other nations, they're looking at you as if you're equal now. You're looking vulnerable. They're saying, what, are you weak like unto us? Because now you need our help. Okay, now you need us to foot the bill more. Okay, now your nation is suffering from epidemics. Okay, now your people are dying at a rapid rate, man. And these nations, they're seeing that, and they're breaking away from your hegemony. Okay, they that ate your bread, because Pakistan and South Korea, they were once allies. Now look, they're breaking away from you. Okay, they're Pakistan, they're making deals with Russia and China, and you see South Korea, they about to link back up with North Korea. The Korea's about to be united, and then what's going to happen? They're not going to rock with America. They're going to rock with Russia, China. That's the spirit that's out here right now. This is Obadiah verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Yeah, and Pakistan was confederate with you with this war against terrorism. The men that are at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Yeah, because Pakistan, they have nuclear technology. And guess what? They're going to shoot it over here. Scriptures tell you that all they that bend the bow shoot at her, spare no arrows. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And what does it mean when it says they that eat thy bread? Those that took your aid. And now that Trump is running this thing like a business, he's like, look, we need to have cost cutting measures. That's what they call it in business, cost cutting measures. Okay, we're in the red, so we need to shore up the company. He cutting off that aid, man. And so now these countries, they don't have no type of allegiance to you, man, because they already was looking at you some type of way because of this quote unquote collateral damage that you cause in their country. And now you're not even giving them no money. So what need they to have any type of alliance with you, man? Now Esau wants you to foot the bill, man. Oh, it needs more responsibilities on you. It can't be us to fight terrorism. You damn devil. Okay, you brought the terrorism in the region, and you contracted them to get on board, and now you want them to do the work. You're crazy, man. Hey, but that's it, man. You so-called white people, you're done. You're exposed. And you niggas, man, you niggas are horrible. You're unreasonable. You coming out with these wild, wacky, tacky doctrines because you really want the distraction. You really want distraction. You want focus to be turned away from the fact that America's being destroyed, and you want all the attention on you. Why? Because you're nothing but a vessel for Satan, man. You're an adversary of the Heavenly Father, and you're going to be destroyed as such. So hopefully it was edifying to the elect. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakwadash, and death to America.